guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. So if you're like me, you are trying to figure out what to do with all of your Thanksgiving leftovers. And one thing I, for whatever reason, have a ton of leftovers left this year is mac and cheese. And obviously you can eat this over and over, but it's only Mitch and I here, and I just kind of wanted to try something creative. So I want to try and make homemade mac and cheese balls. If you guys saw my Trader Joe's taste test video recently, that one was just a flop. Those frozen ones, there was just no seasoning and they just were kind of dull. So I want to see if we can take this leftover mac and cheese and make it homemade and make a good fried mac and cheese ball. So if you're interested in seeing how that turns out, keep on watching. Alright, so for this recipe, I'm kind of just going to make it up as I go, but it's basically just going to be mac and cheese on the inside and then a crust on the outside, and then I'm going to air fry it, kind of like I've done with similar recipes before. So obviously you want to start with some mac and cheese. Now mine's already cold and made, but if you wanted to make homemade or make a box or something, you could just do that and just make sure it cools enough so that you can handle it to form it into balls. For my breading, I'm going to be using flour and panko. So what we'll do is do flour with some seasonings, dip it and then in like an egg wash, and then again season some panko breadcrumbs and do it that way. Now, as I mentioned, we did not like the Trader Joe's ones, partially I think because it was missing a lot of seasoning, so I'm going to make sure we season these well. So just as a personal preference for me, I'm going to be using parsley for kind of some green and freshness and herbiness to it, some garlic powder because I think that pairs well with whenever you're doing any type of breading, and then I love Lowry's seasoned salt because it has all that, some saltiness to it, as well as like paprika and kind of those smokier flavors. So I think this one will be good. And then we're of course going to use plenty of salt and pepper in both as well. So kind of like I mentioned, we're just going to be kind of winging this recipe, but I think overall it should be pretty straightforward. So to start, once your mac and cheese is cooled or you have your leftovers pulled out, I'm basically just going to take each of them and take a kind of a bigger spoonful. You of course can make the balls whatever size you want to make them. I'm going to aim for about a golf ball size. And you just kind of want to roll them out, and then I'm going to take them and set them on a pan, and we're actually going to freeze these for about 15 minutes just to make sure they kind of set into that nice ball form. If you're making your mac and cheese and it hasn't been sitting in your fridge, because you'll definitely want to make sure it gets nice and cold before you go ahead and coat it, so the coating and everything will stick together and you don't end up with some mac and cheese patty instead of a ball at the end. After that 15 or so minutes, depending on however long it took for them to get nice and cold and set, we're then just going to go ahead and set up our station. So we'll start with our flour. As I said, we're going to season it with all 5 seasonings. Then we'll take our egg mixture. You can add a splash of water or milk in this if you feel like you need to, and whisk that up. And then our final section will be the panko, and again we're going to use all 5 seasonings again in this one. Just kind of mix everything together. And then we're just going to go straight from the flour mixture directly into the egg mixture and then into the panko mixture, and then just keep repeating that step until we've covered all of the balls. And I'm just again going to set them back down in the pan when I'm done. Once everything's prepped, we're now going to go ahead and get them in our air fryer. So I'm going to just spray my air fryer with some cooking spray to make sure nothing sticks. And then we'll take it at about 375. That tends to be what works well with kind of a similar type of meals that I've done before. So as always, I'll just check on them every couple of minutes to see kind of when they need to be flipped, when they look like they're going to be done and nice and crispy on the outside. Alright, so here we have the final product. They turned out really good. A couple of them you can see kind of broke apart. I didn't handle them very gently when I was pulling them out. So some of them stayed really good, like an actual ball that you could pick up. Some of them we might have to eat with a fork, but I did test one of them that kind of fell apart from the air fryer, and they taste really good, much better than those flavorless ones from Trader Joe's that we tried on video. So definitely recommend this if you have a bunch of leftover Thanksgiving mac and cheese laying around that you don't know what to do with. This could be a fun appetizer just to make something different, since I'm sure you've been eating the same thing for the past 3 days like we have. If you have any questions on the recipe, feel free to leave those in comments down below. If you're new to my channel, make sure you follow me on Instagram for content and updates throughout the week, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I post on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks again for watching Morgs Menu, and hope you have a great day. Bye guys.